Hello and welcome back to the Impressionwiz channel. I'm your host, the Impressionwiz. And today is going to be something a little different. It's not going to be like a story. I'm working on some stories and whatnot for the future. But Tuesdays I want to have stories or kind of random thoughts that I might have that you might find entertaining. Because some of the things I come up with are weird. Even to me. So, these are just some of the random thoughts I've thought up, and hopefully you enjoy this video. Here we go. One of the most prevalent ones for one of my fandoms, I guess, is for My Hero Academia. It's a good show. I recommend watching it. I'm not sponsored. But there's two characters that seem to interact a lot that don't like to interact. And just one kind of random thought. Mr. Aizawa, or Eraserhead, and Present Mike, which is what he goes by all the time, if either they had some kind of child that somehow got their quirk, or they had like reversed quirks and Eraserhead got Present Mike's quirk, either or, some of the songs that would probably come out of that would be like, or like some songs that he would utilize would be like Linkin Park, Feel Numb or something like that, or Evanescence, or some like songs like that. I could picture that. Crawling! I'm a goofball that way, but have you ever had those times where like you just draw a blank on what you're trying to do? Just, you're seeing something and then just dead air in your mind, and it's like, I was trying to say something here. It was supposed to be like very important, but nothing in your head. It's just like white noise. Just sometimes I feel like that recording videos, especially like if it's just off the top of my head like this one is, or some of the impression ones I do, because I try to remember quotes off the top of my head sometimes for a lot of those so far. That's why I'm trying to get into the habit of either finding quotes, or I'm trying to write down stories to read, like either in like characters I've created, or characters like I'm a part of the fandom, like with Sans Lament, I'm part of the Undertale fandom. And that's one thing, is like I'm not like a huge part of the fandom. I'm kind of stuck in the fandoms, though, because the impressions I have, or the voices I have, they kind of glue me into the impressions sometimes, or into the fandoms sometimes, just a little bit. Enough that whenever I go back to it, those voices come back, and when I practice them up again, I can. And the two most prevalent ones that I'm kind of stuck with, that have like, that are headcanon ones anyway, are the Undertale and Homestuck fandoms. I'm pretty much perpetually stuck somewhat in those fandoms, because those voices are always in my head. Even if I don't like watch or read or play too much of some of the content that's out there of it. And yes, I do mean watch, read, play, whatever, for both, because there's plenty for both. But even if I'm just sitting home alone sometimes and I feel like really lazy, somehow Sans just kind of comes into my head. And I have like all those puns. Maybe that's just because I'm like a human Sans, but I don't know. But with some of the Homestuck characters, if I start feeling in a certain way, I almost hear the voice of the character in my head and whatnot. So it's kind of weird, but. And with fandoms like with Nintendo and whatnot, I'm kind of stuck, because my Mario impression doesn't necessarily go too much with anything else other than the Nintendo fandom, sort of. And I consider it like the Nintendo fandom because I like a lot of Nintendo games, not just Mario, or not just Pokemon. I kind of like a mishmash of all of the Nintendo stuff, but My favorites are technically Mario and Pokemon in some cases, but I maybe this is just me, but I don't know if any other people who do voice impressions or anything, or accents or anything. If you do any accents and you notice this happen to you, please let me know in the comments. But I sometimes have, like, I'll be doing an accent and then I try to switch it off, but I'm stuck in the accent for a little bit sometimes. Like, say I'm in a southern drawl or something like that, and I'll be talking in it like in character or something, or even just I'll throw it in for like a joke or something, and then I'm stuck in it a little while after, and I can't easily just switch it off too easily. I'm trying to not speak in the accent, but I end up in that accent. Or even I'll just be talking normally and it'll slip in somehow. With that last random thought that was in my head, I believe this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed this kind of a video because it's a little different from what I have been doing. I'll do some more stories for you on Tuesdays in the future, and maybe some more random thoughts or just kind of stuff that comes from my head, either serious or non-serious, kind of like how this one was kind of a mish of both, but maybe like a mishmash of serious and not serious. Maybe just a serious video, maybe a not so serious video here and there. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you Wednesday.